Welcome back, everyone. It is now another Monday with Micah, and we have a very entertaining episode for you here today. Carol Jarvis is here. This lady is a wealth of knowledge, and she has so many stories and amazing stories that she can even remember back to her younger years. And I'm going to go back into some of those. But we met at church.
Right.
And how long have we known each other?
Well, they're going to have their 50th anniversary. How old are you?
I'm 43.
See, you weren't even born.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't even born at the founding of our church.
And I arrived in Franklin in 1977.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I didn't start going to the Rock Church. I tried the Methodist Church in Joyner, but so we went
Not
to
a
the
fit.
Rock Church in Franklin.
Awesome.
Probably in 78 or almost 79, somewhere right
Awesome.
in there. And I've been going on and off
Ever since.
Right.
Okay. I didn't start going till I was 16, so that was 97.
Okay.
So that's how long we've been in the same church. And so there's a couple of things that I want to start with, and then I'm going to pass it on to Carol to get some more details. Carol is a doer. First of all, she's a doer. You call her up. She has helped this person, helped that person, run here, run there. She can do a lot of things, and she's
called multi-talented.
Multi-talented, multitasker, and she's still doing it.
Right.
Okay, she's still doing these things even here today.
Right.
She remembered that my kids loved Hawaiian rolls. Hawaiian rolls. And how did this start? So when my kids were younger, she loves to swim, and you were a lifeguard.
I never liked life.
Okay.
I never liked
Lifeguarding, okay.
I like to know the people in the pool, what they could do.
Yes.
But I did lifeguard, but
okay.
not a lot.
And when my kids were younger, she came up to me and said, I would like to teach your kids swimming lessons. And I said, great, I didn't really go through the YMCA's program, those infant ones or whatever they call them. And they were probably, 3, 4,
Oh,
5?
when they started with me?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I don't remember.
They were young.
They were young, yeah.
And it was
Good
probably
age.
2 or 3 years, 2-3 summers.
Right.
Right?
Because it takes a while.
Yes, so she has this little sheet, and she does a little evaluation of how they did for the week. And to this day, one of the things that she does with them is teaches them how to lay on their back.
Right. And say,
And what do you say?
hello, Mr. Sunshine.
Hello, Mr. Sunshine. And that voice, Carol's voice shows up in my mind today.
Right.
So I told her recently that I was walking and it was super sunny, and I felt like I was supposed to acknowledge and say, hello, Mr. Sunshine. And so it's not original because Carol had this beautiful little line.
Right.
And what it did is it helped the kids look up
Right.
and learn how to float and look on to the Father, really the Son. And, it gives her opportunity to share and build their confidence. And I can tell you that my kids are great swimmers. They've never feared the water. And I attribute that to Carol's love for the water and her love for water safety.
Right.
And teaching these kids the amount of, how many decades have you been teaching children how to swim?
Oh, gosh. Almost 40
years. Okay.
Right.
So this lady
up here in this county.
Yes.
In
Can you
Southampton.
believe this? And boy, people remember this from when their pools are no longer in areas that she was teaching kids how to swim. So she's continued to be here and go to different people's pools to teach them. And so why is this important to share in the beginning of this conversation? Because I want to just give you a glimpse of the importance of that unction. And so in 2017, I think they had finished their swimming lessons basically before that.
I think so. I can't remember.
I know. So we can't really remember, but
there
was another member of our church has a nice in-ground pool. And Carol said, she lets us use her pool to do the lessons. And so we were going over there in the summer, and they were already familiar with this pool. Okay, so I'm setting the stage here. We used other pools, but that last year that we did it, it was at our friend's house that had an in-ground pool. We've used above ground pool, different ones. Right. And after they had learned how to swim, so she taught them how to swim. And then in 2017, my husband passed. Right. And one of the outlets that we use to get away and get some different scenery, this friend of ours said, you can come over and swim anytime. I want you to know that my house is your house. This is without Carol. This was just us coming over, whether they were home or not. Just send a text and let us know, and you can come over and use this as not an escape, but kind of something to do with the kids. And so I just want to tell you that Carol set the stage in preparation, and not knowing any of this.
Right.
And these are the ages that she would have wanted to teach the kids. And so she pursued that. And we got the opportunity to go. And I don't know if I've told you this story or not. So that first summer, we were swimming. There was my husband passed in the shower.
Yes.
And there's a transition period to walk back into that shower and use it again.
Oh.
And neither one of my kids had used it yet. And we went to that pool, and we weren't even there 5 minutes, and it started to rain. But I felt like it was one of those little summer showers. And something inside was like, we're riding it out. And so we had the floats, and we kind of used that as our little roof. And something inside me got the whole thing about Jericho. And I said, kids, I want you to ask the Lord to send the rain on.
Oh, okay.
And let's just go around the pool and say, rain, rain, go away, come again another day. Let's do it like 7 times. And I kind of looked on my weather Doppler thing, and it looked like it was kind of a 20-minute moving through. And we didn't see any lightning, so I kind of took the risk to kind of stay in the pool, and they did. And this little sun started perking out, and they kind of walked around, and by the 7th time, there was some confidence, kind of like, they're declaring some things. That day, when he got out of the pool, he said, I'm ready to get in the shower.
Hallelujah. That's amazing.
So that pool not only helped them learn how to swim, it was a breakthrough moment with me and my kids.
Yes, absolutely.
That them riding out that little storm gave him the confidence to say, I'm ready to get back in that shower.
That's amazing.
And I could get choked up by that right now. Those simple things. And so the acts of kindness, she didn't charge us for swimming lessons. This is a love. She has a love for this and a love for swimming safety.
Right.
And to be able to give the gift of that to the kids. And then that gift kept giving in a circumstance that was hard, where I didn't take them to a strange person's pool and they were like, why are we here? And all this stuff. No, they were familiar with it. Right. They were comfortable with that place. They've been there. She gave them confidence to be in that pool, gave them good memories. And then there were breakthrough moments. And it really helped me calm down and have it almost felt like you're going to a resort. It smells good over there. There's a breeze over there. Right. There's just good vibes. Great place. And so I just have to lead with that, y'all, that these were the God moments in the early days of walking through grief, where I was able to look back and say, God had set us up. So, Carol, I'm going to pass it on to you. What are some of the other God setups?
Well, I have to say, of course, I do love teaching swimming. I mean, I just absolutely love doing that. And I think that anybody that watches me knows that I do.
Yes.
And the results that I get.
Yes.
I mean,
Everyone's a strong swimmer.
Everybody,
They love it.
get the confidence
Yes.
to do it, even though they can't do it.
Right.
And they're nervous. And I
Yes.
have one little boy I told you
Yes.
about. He said to me, I really have to talk to you. I thought, okay. So I said, come on over here. We'll
Yep.
sit down so that we're eye level.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, I'm really nervous. I said, that's okay. You can be nervous. Just do what I tell you. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And one of the last conversations I had with your husband, we were walking down the aisle, the hallway at the Rock Church, and he said to me, and he wasn't a big talker,
Yes.
as you well know. He said, thank you for teaching my children to swim. I thought, you are most certainly welcome. It's
Yeah.
been an honor for me to be able to do that. And then the morning, Saturday morning, he was in the kitchen scrambling eggs, and I was standing beside him cooking pancakes. We probably had the longest conversation we ever had, because he wasn't a big talker,
Right.
you know? And I thought that was certainly sweet
A gift that you got.
that I got,
Wow.
just to remember
Yes.
him in that way.
Way.
And then the next, probably the final conversation, and it wasn't really a conversation, but it was the Friday night before the Monday, the end of the anniversary. And Ben had your two children down, and your dad was sitting over there
Okay.
at the other end of I was at my spot, my last seat spot, and Ben came up with Stella, I think, first. And she said hi to your dad. He walked her back and brought Stone up. And he said, embraced him and, just had a nice little conversation. And I just was sitting there thinking, this is amazing that I get to witness. Here, your dad sitting there, probably beaming,
Yeah.
with you up there on the stage playing nicely, softly. There was nobody else. It was just us. And I wasn't with them, they weren't with me. But that little transaction was so sweet. And then, you get to think about something. I mean, I did, just watching, what was going on. And I think when Ben bought Stella, walked her back, and then went and got Stone, brought him up and walked him back. I thought, this is the way the Lord is. One at a time.
Wow.
One at a time.
That's so beautiful.
Isn't that so sweet?
I mean, look, it's getting deep, y'all. It's getting deep. I want to ask you, because you told me this beautiful story about how you got saved.
Oh, yeah. It was challenging.
But was it a Sunday school?
Actually, no, I didn't go to Sunday school.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
So we had a whole different way of thinking, which
Yes.
is completely...
But didn't somebody speak into your life early on?
Oh, there were quite a few people that did. And I remember the first time that I was challenged. Because I thought, I accepted the Lord because I didn't want to die and go to hell.
Right.
I mean, you had to be stupid.
That's right. That's the fear.
Refuse
The fear of hell was enough to get us
Enough to-
salvaged.
But I didn't want him to be my Lord. I didn't, because can you tell?
Like our own way, or think our own way.
Exactly.
Right? Mhm.
Right. So
Stubborn.
anyway, so that happened there. So that started my more of a little bit of openness, not a super whole lot, but I was still curious, because I want to know. And then now I have to stop and think of how the actual salvation conversion took place. And I had a friend who was dear to me, and I was at her house, which I had been there quite a bit. I had bought $26 worth of makeup from a woman around the corner, and I was all excited. And I've always been very vain, and but anyway, she got down on her knees, and when she did, I mean, I bolted out of that place like a shot, like a rocket. I thought, I got to get out of here. The presence of the Lord was so
Strong.
obvious, and of course I wasn't totally aware of that at that time. But afterwards, in
You were.
hindsight, you get to thinking, I came home, stashed all the makeup. I hid it, which I didn't really have to, but I did. And then proceeded on with the rest of the day, making supper, do the whole business. So I get in bed and I'm just beside myself. So I get up the next morning and I said, okay, Lord, I know it's you, but let me get rid of these people and then we'll talk. Get the kids to school, off to school, my husband out of the house. So, and I got down on my knees and I thought, I'll never forget it. He was so gracious to think, that he wants us so much that he just provides the space to make it happen.
Wow.
It was amazing.
He was patient.
Oh gosh.
Waiting on you to
me.
create the space.
Right. Because he will not violate your will.
That's
he
good.
will not, and if you say no, he says, okay.
Okay. Yep.
You
I'll
back
give
off.
you your space.
Exactly.
That's right.
And if we have to wait for another time, well, that was the beginning. And I had quite a bit of, I had been going to church, so I knew, I'll never forget one time. I spent some time in bed, the Lord healed me, and I knew it. But my husband came in one day and said he thought I needed to take our children to Sunday school. I said, I'm sitting there flipping my knee, my foot. And I said to him, if you think it's so important, you take them, because I'm not doing it anymore. Just let's have it out. He didn't, but I did, Anyway, he got me on the right track and had grown. I'm sure that I would be able to say that I'm probably not where I should be, but I'm way ahead of
where you were.
Where I
That's
would have
right.
been without, and just to think. Just think about it. Peely's mother and Danny's mother and father came to my house when they were all here, and her dad, one of the men, came to me. I was standing in my front yard, and he said to me, because I lived down the path, there's nobody down there but me. He said, aren't you nervous being down here all by yourself, in the middle of the wilderness, so to speak? I said, not really. So he thought I think he thought it was a little bit amazing that I thought,
Hey, I've been doing it. It's not a big deal to me.
it isn't a big deal, because this is my thought. This is my way I think. If somebody came down there and violated me, killed me, I'm going to go right straight into the arms of Jesus. What's not wrong with that?
Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. That's a strong lady right there.
It's true.
I concur, but we need the listeners to know there's nothing to fear, widows.
No.
Widowers, when you are alone.
Right.
And she lives in an isolated area.
Right.
Where our mind likes to play games.
Oh, yeah, if you let
in
it.
In the isolation.
Right.
And she said, big whoop, I've lived a life, if he hasn't taken me now, then if that's the way I'm going out, it's not an ideal way of going out.
No.
But she has enough history and trust with the Lord.
Amen.
That she doesn't believe that's how it's going to go down.
No.
And I have to tell you, after my husband passed, and I said this recently in another video, that I kind of felt like a sitting duck.
Well, yeah, and I get that.
Because there is something to the word covering. The safety of having someone else in the house. And you've been a widow for how long?
13 years.
Okay.
Maybe 14. I have to stop and think.
Yes, that's fine.
It's not a big issue.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's independent. She was independent before. She's been independent after. And so even though maybe the demands changed a little bit, or your energy or your service and who you were serving. But you were serving people before, you've been serving people after. She told me a little bit of a story. This lady not only has been teaching people how to swim for 4 decades now, 40 years, she also for 20 years was putting wallpaper up and prettying houses. So you're hearing a little bit, she likes to make things pretty.
Right.
Okay, and so I don't say vain is not a term I want to use here about our face or whatever. It's creative. It's being creative,
Right.
and some paint canvases and some paint faces. Okay, so you're painting. You like to paint. She paints houses. She likes to paint her face. I like to paint my face.
Me too.
So we're not going to feel any negativity about us purchasing our makeup, because I like to buy bronzer. We have discussions about lashes, and she feels like she's losing her lashes, and so she wants to put on these lashes. And why, a lady in her 80s, does she need to put on lashes?
Exactly, because I want to look good.
So here we go. A lady in her 80s still wants to look good,
Right.
okay? I think there's something good about that. I
think so.
I think that means she still has some life inside of her. She
Right.
still has some pep in her step,
That I want to live by myself.
but she wants to live by herself. So she made that clear that she's not getting gussied up, I like to use
No.
that term, for a man.
No.
Or the potential of a man noticing her.
Exactly.
She's doing it because she feels good.
Right.
It makes her feel good.
Right.
That's actually why I do it too, to be honest.
Good.
I like to feel good in my own skin.
Right.
It's not to get the attention. It may get attention,
Well, yeah, it works.
but it's
helpful.
not. But it's not for the sake of
The end
please
result.
notice me.
Right, exactly.
It's, yeah. Hey, and so people are surprised by my outfits today. To this day. And here we are in a tassel cap, but she's in a fuzzy sweater and she's got a print on, and I'm in a little fuzzy cheetah. So I said, keep your jacket on. We're in this kind of a thing right now, so it feels good. It feels cozy. But you told me another story, and you haven't gotten this out yet. Something about the Lord telling you you're beautiful, or someone said something about the apple of your eye.
Oh.
I don't know if it's.
I don't know. We'd have to think about that one.
So how? What are some of your favorite things to do
Now,
now?
I'm great at napping.
This lady's
I
a
am.
character. This lady's a character, and that's why.
And that's the truth.
That is the truth. And she keeps things interesting, and she's fun. And she's been through some things. Okay? She's been through some things. What are some of the life lessons? Do you have any life hacks? Do you have any life lessons or like aging life hacks?
Oh, I don't know exactly what you mean. That I've learned to do better, or
What are some things that as your body has transitioned,
Oh, gosh.
you do to cut corners?
at as little as possible.
Okay.
Okay. And I like to nap. Yeah.
And that keeps your body recharged.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Right. And and I don't do as much as I used to do when I don't like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on changing that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to fall into the trap of, because
Less
I'm
and
in
less.
pretty good shape.
That's right.
For the shape I'm in.
Yes, you are.
I am.
Yes, you are.
No broken bones.
Yes.
No, I'm still able
Still driving,
to
still
Yeah.
having. What are some of your favorite memories? You've mentioned some of those with your relationship with the Lord. What are some moments that you said, God, only you could have done that?
Oh, listen.
You have so many.
There's probably so many that it's just amazing to me. And everything I look at, I think, how wonderful is He to just be so gracious to us, if you're aware of just how amazing things are.
Right.
And you look at them in a different way
Yes.
and just take it for granted.
That's
that,
right.
It's like no big deal.
Right.
And specifically, see, this is what I should have thought more about before I came here, because I don't think I'm being very
You are. No, it's great.
whatever. Just everyday life. Like, this is one thing lately. About, I guess sometime last year, my daughter-in-law's mother-in-law, no, it was somebody else, they died. So the cat, they had to find a place for a cat. So I said, no, this cat kind of showed up on his own. But this year, my daughter-in-law's mother-in-law had a cat. She never let the cat in the house. She had actually 2 cats. Somebody took the little one. This is the bigger one. Nobody wanted her. So I said, okay, I'll take her. So my son went and got her. They brought her over, let her out of the cage. She ran directly up into a tree. Now, the cat's never been to my house before. So I think, okay, so I put food out and I thought, well, we'll see what happens. That has turned into the most challenging little cat. You know where she sleeps? In the middle of the dining room table. And it doesn't matter to me if people come in and see there's the cat on the table. We're soon going to eat here, but I'll put a new tablecloth on the table. And when you leave, she's coming right back. And I think it's amazing. And she will now come up and sit in my lap, which this has taken months for her to get adjusted to me. So that to me is a blessing. And I look at her and I think, you're such a doggone cute little kitten. Well, she's not a kitten. But I thank the Lord that I have a little company.
Companionship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, she was an outside cat.
Now
But
she
once
came
it got cold, she sleeps
Yeah.
in the house at night, and she's in and out pretty much all day.
So all of a sudden, a little friend showed up, and she
A
adopted
blessing.
it. She adopted the little cutie cat, and
she adopted me.
Me, that's right. And the relationship began and is blossoming. Now, another thing about Carol is that she has been helping widows
Well,
and single people. You don't single out that, but you get people to different places. And you and Deborah Ledbetter used to do a lot together, and that was a lady who's already passed with a women's group. And when she leaves here today, she's going to that women's group.
That's right.
And what has that women's group meant to you, and what about those ladies and those relationships that you continue to still? What can you speak into older ladies choosing to still connect to each other in this season of life? What is the importance of that? What can you share with others about getting out, connecting?
Right. Well, the fact that we go back so far is the start.
Right.
Like with Loretta
Yes.
McClenny,
Yes.
we've gone back.
40 years.
Yeah,
Plus.
every bit of it. And even though I was sometimes not
In and out.
regularly
Right.
attending at the Rock Church,
Yes.
but they were there.
Yes.
You know, and like
Old
Deborah,
faithfuls, we like to call them.
right?
Yeah.
Deborah Ledbetter.
Yes. Yep.
I remember when she was the leader, but she was so helpful to me when my husband first died.
Okay.
You know, that's a big.
She was still doing it then. She
Yeah.
was the leader then.
She was the leader.
Yes.
Yeah. And so she was very gracious to me and was there. And she heard a lot of tales that you have to tell when your husband dies. There's a lot that goes on and you can't tell everybody.
Yep.
You just can't. But she was there for me. And so consequently, I feel like but it's not a planned
That's right.
being there. It just happens to happen.
Yeah.
Because I think you feel so comfortable with one another
Yes.
that you don't have to work at. And of course, they're in any group. I don't care where you are or who you are. There are going to be people that you sort of motivate to a little bit more than somebody else, but taking nothing away from anybody. So that's kind of the way it's been. I've been very happy. I'm happy to have an up and coming assistant, and I keep telling her, I want you to take over. She doesn't want to. I understand that, but I keep putting
Prodding it.
Put it in there. In her head.
Keep seeding it.
That's exactly right.
And so that was 13 years ago that your husband passed, but you're still, even though you weren't the leader the whole time, you were assisting Deborah Ledbetter. This was another lady in our church that was a widow. And then she came kind of to come walk with you in the beginnings of you being a widow.
Right.
And then you became the leader because she had some sickness that happened in different years.
And she was done. She
she
was
got
done.
tired of
And
it.
you get to the point, I don't care what it is.
Yeah, you've
You
done
get
it for a
done.
while. You need a
it's-
break.
It's like
you need to take a break.
You gotta stop.
And so she stepped up, and this is something like she's saying they may not meet as consistent as some of the other groups.
Right, we don't.
And because of health reasons and everything
Right.
else, not all of them drive. They
Right.
have to pick each other up and get to certain places. So there's
Right.
extra steps with this
Right.
particular group. But they love each other enough to continue to put in the time when they can to meet together. And they do it during the day,
Right.
at lunch.
Right.
So they adjust to what their needs are and encourage each other.
Yes, yes, and it's very
Uplifting.
It is, and yeah. So today at 1:00, I'm gonna meet at Diane Bodenhammer, Hammer.
Yeah.
I love the name, but I love her. She's amazing, and much more. Well, she's younger, and this stuff you get to the point where
Doesn't matter anymore.
it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, is there any final thoughts or stories that, because there were 3 things you said you wanted to share
Right.
about the swimming.
Right.
Did you get those out?
Well, the first one about the Tina's son.
Yes.
Yeah,
What was
I'm
the
grandson.
second story?
The second one is I had a mother come to me once, and I was teaching up at Camp Rudolph in Yale, and she said to me, this fractured me when she told me. Her husband said to her, they had a 14 or a 15-year-old boy who did not swim. He said to the mother, get that kid up there, and if you have to beat him through the gate, get him in there. And I thought, where are you? That was my initial
Yeah.
response,
Yeah.
and I didn't say anything, but
Yeah.
I thought to the mother, well, where are you? You bring him and beat him through the gate.
Totally.
You're probably the reason why he doesn't want to swim.
Exactly.
So anyway, now here's this young, and I don't remember how old he was, but he was well older than the little beginners.
Yes.
So she brought him. I don't know if he stayed that day or came the next day. So I said to the kid, I can't even remember what his name is. I have a picture of him, but I couldn't find it. I said, go sit on that bench there and watch us.
That's it.
Just watch us.
Wow.
So he did that first day. And then the next day, sit on the bench and watch us. Because I wanted him to see, well, how I operate.
Totally.
You know, so that he could know that
You're
here's
safe.
these little kids
Yep. They
that
can
can't
do it.
do anything, and every day
They
we
get
went
better.
to the deep water. Every day. We didn't spend 5 days in the shallow water and
Wow.
then the last day go to the deep water. You can't do that. You gotta be prepared. So anyway, he did, and obviously he learned how to swim. And I was happy. I know he was happy.
Yes.
And his wife, his mother was probably happy, and evidently maybe even the father. I don't know anything about the end of that, but that's another standout story. What's the third one? Oh, I know. I'm in the class, and you've seen what I do. So here's this woman. She brought her grandson from Suffolk. And I was teaching at somebody's backyard pool. Sherry Lee, I believe. I don't know how she found out, So anyway, the kid comes. Well, the kid swims great underwater. So he had to show me, I thought, okay, I'm looking, I'm watching. That's very good, but we're going to learn how to swim on top of the water. So anyway, he's in the class, and, we're on the last day. And I have my routine that I do. The parents are there, the grandparents are there. And this kid's father, I could just tell by looking at him, he wasn't too happy about being there. He gets up out of the group. I'm in the water with a student. He gets up out of the group, walks down to the shallow water without my permission. So I'm working my way to the ladder to get the kid I'm with out of the water. He's done what he needed to do. So I get out of the water and I walk to the shallow water, and I said to him, what do you think you're doing? He said, I don't like you. So you know what I told him? I said, I don't care whether you like me or not. Go back over there and sit down and don't get up till I tell you. I think the parents were probably shocked.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, we're not doing this.
That's right.
You're in charge. act
Hold
like
it.
you're in charge.
Yep.
You don't let that little kid
Take over.
He went back over there and sat down. Of course, we never heard a word out of him again. But I thought that was pretty.
And did he learn how to swim?
Oh, of course.
Of course. And so this is the gift that one of the gifts of Carol's personality is that she can take any personality and she knows how to be frank and then also be gentle
Yes.
to build trust with these kids to not only trust her with their lives floating out there in the water where she could let them go and they potentially could drown,
Right.
and also for them to trust themselves, to
Right.
learn that they are more capable than
what they
the
think.
water is telling them that they are.
Right.
And there's huge life lessons as we started this conversation with that can happen in the water. And there's so many scriptures and stories in the Bible that are about water. Around water. You know, miracles through the water. So the water is a repeat in spirit life and in Christians' lives. We are aware of the water and the river,
Right.
and all the symbolism of walking with Jesus and the terminology we use about the flow and current, and grief can come like waves, and there's stagnant seasons. All this language we use is really terminology that is related to water.
Right.
And I can say for Carol that she has had a love for kids since I've known her. And no matter her age,
Right.
she is still willing to sew in
Right.
with stories, but really she gives confidence.
Right.
She courage.
I got another one.
Okay, we've got another story here.
All right, I'm sitting at a ball game. So there's a kid on my grandson's team. His name is DJ. Nice little black kid. So I thought, I wonder if he can swim, because I always wonder if they can swim. So his dad was there that day. So I walked over to him and I said, does DJ swim? He said, no, he doesn't. I said, well, I would certainly like to have the opportunity to teach him how to swim. He said, okay. I said, talk to your wife and we'll get together and we'll make the arrangements. Okay, good. So not only did DJ come, but he has an older sister named Zakia or something like that, Jakia. And then a younger sister named Bebe. So they tell him what house to go to. So they come. And the mother says to me the first day, she says, how long is this going to take? I said, well, it all depends on how they react. So I get started, same process, and they did well. The girl was just nose in the air, couldn't have cared less about being there. Jakira. So, and like I said, we always start in the shallow, we go to the deep, because you have to go to the deep. If you can't swim in the deep, you can't swim.
Right.
So anyway, we get up there, she's still nose in the air with an attitude. So the second day I said to Jakira, I said, all right, let me say one thing to you, my dear. I didn't say my dear. I said, I don't think that in your lifetime you'll ever have this opportunity
Wow.
again.
Wow.
So you need to take full advantage of what's
Here for you.
What's here for you
Yeah.
today.
Wow.
So it was like a miracle. The next day, the difference in her attitude.
Wow.
So we continued with the swimming lessons. DJ did wonderful because he was hot to get it. I mean, he just wanted to get it. So he did good. Bebe did good. She came with the little underpants on, no shirt. It was really kind of interesting. But anyway, so Jakir, the last day of our time together, I have a video of her jumping off the diving board, coming up, recovering, treading water to, kind of get your bearings, face in, swim to the shallow water. That was her.
Wow.
So now here we are, probably 8 years later, just last summer, I was at my ex-daughter-in-law's house, my grandson's mother, and there's a young black man there. He's their cousin, and he doesn't swim. I said, I want to teach you how to swim, and I hope I get it done this year, because he's probably about 21 or 22.
Oh my God.
Scared to death of the water, but I want to get him, because I know he can do it.
Yeah.
See, I know they can do it. It's just
Do you
a
see
matter
that?
of-
She has unlocked the ability to help you grow,
Get it.
learn a skill.
right, because you can do it.
And it's a life skill.
Oh,
This
listen.
is not a kid's skill. This
No.
is for the rest of your life, you're either
Right.
going to fear the water or you're going to face the water.
Right.
And you have to face it in a safe place. And she has, for 40 years,
Yes,
y'all,
right.
has helped people face their fear of the water, face their fear of the deep, and learned how to tread water, how to get under the water, how to get on top of the water, and to say hello, Mr. Sunshine, along the way.
Right.
And I'm telling you, these kids never forget it.
They don't. I have I've had grown men come up to me in a wherever
Random.
and say, had one tell me he saved 3 people, and he took swimming lessons with me
From
at
her.
Camp Rudolph. Yeah, it's
So-
amazing. I'm
so
totally
y'all-
blessed.
I mean, the simple act of being so passionate about something that she she finds them. You know, she finds these kids and she's curious
Right.
to know, and has stayed curious not only about this but about the Father, and she's grown her relationship with him. This curiosity has carried through her life and so many adventures that she has gone on through her life. And that's just one story she knows of people who have saved people. The amount of people that only heaven knows.
That's exactly
And
right.
she'll find that out one day.
One day.
So y'all, I just hope that these stories, that it's significant, and it may feel so basic, or like, you know, what is the big deal about it, or why is it a big deal?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. These things, like I said, you do not forget when people say, I believe in you.
Oh yeah.
I know you have this ability. They don't see it in themselves. They don't trust the process.
Nope.
But she is confident of what skills she has, and she has a 100% success rate.
Well, yeah. I've never had anybody not
Learn how to swim.
Or yeah.
At whatever age they are. Whatever age. She teaches
Right.
adults how to swim. She
Right.
teaches young children how to swim. She does try to catch the younger ages, because I do think it is easier, right?
Well,
is it easier?
It's more conducive to success because they're a clean
Slate.
sheet.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have as much fear
Exactly,
attached as
right.
adults do to their
Right.
mental mindset of things.
Right.
And it can feel clunky when you don't know, and it's
Right.
more embarrassing maybe. We're more aware of what we can't do. And
And I am very big, always have been, on correcting wrong positions in the water and wrong arm movements. There's a lot that goes on. I sometimes are at a pool and I think, oh, why doesn't somebody tell them one minor correction can make the
so much
biggest
more
difference?
strength in their
Exactly.
swimming ability.
Yeah. It's
She
really-
has it. And so I had to get her on here. And this I hope you have enjoyed stories with Miss Carol, because the older generation, sometimes when you ask these poignant questions, it takes a little longer to recall, but I know that they're going to come to the forefront. So this is a little bit longer video, but I hope you have enjoyed hearing her stories of breakthrough. You have one more?
I have one more.
Okay, we want to hear it.
This is funny. I was at the Y whenever. So there's people in that they're there for swimming lessons. So there's this older gentleman there hanging on, life gripping the side of the pool. So, and I'm there and I'm ready to do whatever's necessary. So I get in the water and I said to him, well, first thing, it would be a good idea for you to let go of the side. Put your hands right here on my shoulders. So he did. And it was hard for him to do that. So I turned around and he's, hands here. I said, all right, now, just kick your feet a little. I got you. Because I've got him under, like right here. But he's holding right. He said, he didn't know that he could let go of the side.
That may seem common sense to Carol.
It was amazing. He was very delightful, and that's the only opportunity I had with him. But it was certainly interesting.
Comical to you.
And I'm sorry I didn't get the opportunity to finish.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have to believe that those beginnings was enough
Exactly.
to let him know that it's worth pursuing,
Yes.
learning how to do these things.
Yes.
So I just want to encourage the listener. If there's something that you still don't know how to do and you have been curious about it, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Because you are more capable than you believe you are.
Right.
And a lot of times the fear says this is going to be way harder.
Right. Yeah, don't pay attention to that.
Right.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in that basket. If there's somebody that is well skilled in
Yes.
what they do and they can help you,
Yes.
Do
it.
it.
Do
Do
it. You're never too old to learn.
nope.
And that's building resilience inside you to build that confidence that when another hard thing happens, you don't think, well, I can't go any further.
Right.
We limit ourselves.
Well, we do.
And
just think of this.
Yes.
You asked me how the Lord works with me,
Yes.
speaks to me. Can you just imagine him watching you do something, learning something that you didn't think you could do? He's your biggest
Cheerleader.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
I'm
Can
telling
you just imagine? And that's kind of the way I like to think.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way I think.
So Jesus is your biggest cheerleader.
Absolutely.
He is kind. He is patient. And as she talked about earlier, he's a gentleman.
Yes.
What does that mean? He's not going to overstep his bounds.
No.
But when people come together and when love leads it, she loves this.
Right.
She loves the Father. She knows that he's given her an ability.
Right.
And some people, I learned how to swim, but I don't feel like showing people how to swim. It's a gift. It's a calling to see the value in something and learn it and create a little system where it allows others to access a part of themselves that they didn't even believe, know that they had.
Right.
And that is really my heart here at the Widow Walk, is to remind you that there's parts in your heart.
Right.
There's chambers and places in your heart. There's capacity that you aren't aware of. But when we get around people that are doing things better than us, in different areas than us, that we can take a piece of that and learn new trades, learn new skills, some knitting, gardening, all these different things with our hands, and sometimes with our minds, painting. If you get around people who love it, it'll jump onto you. It's contagious. Thank you. And also for the negative, if you're around critical people,
oh my gosh,
then
go home.
if you're around critical people, it's also contagious.
Right.
And so our will is involved in choice. There's a choice, and sometimes we don't feel we have a choice. When you become a widow, it wasn't really a choice.
No.
Okay, it happened to us. And some of those things are suddenly, and some of those things happen gradually in a decline of an illness. But at the end of the day, the Father is cheering you on.
Right.
He's cheering for you. And I see it. I have experienced in my life. I'm not just agreeing with her for the sake of agreeing, because I want to seem polite here on the show. I believe what Carol is saying. And I have experienced it myself.
Right.
That the Father, any good parent, sees more in their kids.
Oh,
the potential.
Right.
We can see the potential. And Carol sees the potential in people. And she has received giftings and seeing that, like, you see with the Father, her own internal dialogue, you see the potential in me. Well, Lord, if I can do it, who can't do it?
And I didn't know that.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, what you didn't know, you learn, and you can grow, and then sometimes become excellent at it. You can become an excellent swimmer. You can become an excellent communicator. You can become an excellent painter. The things that we steward in our lives matter.
Right.
So don't stop moving. Don't stop moving. when you get outside, the widow walk, I'm a widow that walks, okay? I got up this morning, I get outside.
Oh, and you literally walk.
Yes, and I literally walk, figuratively and literally. It's not just a statement, it is a action.
She does
And something I just want to leave you here in the month of February, to be thankful.
Yes. It's Heart Month.
It is Heart Month. It is Love Month. We love you. The Father loves you.
Amen.
He loves you. He is in love with you. Okay? And he doesn't just, sometimes you say, well, I love you, but I don't really like you.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of such a thing?
Right.
Like, sometimes you can have love for people, but you actually don't really like them.
Right. You don't want to be around them.
You don't want to be around them.
No.
That is not who the Father is.
No,
he not only
no.
loves you, that the Father sent his only Son
Right.
to come down here to this earthly realm,
Right. Just think about that.
to create an access door for us to enter into an eternal rest one day. That is something that only one person in all the universe, in any generation, could do. He had the power to transcend generations. And that level of power is deposited in each one of us. And she shared a little bit that she didn't understand the depth of relationship with the Lord. She asked him in for fear of hell.
I don't want to die and go to hell.
And then as time went on, the nearness of the Father and the grace and his graciousness and mercy over her life and the different things that she can't even fully recall all the stories because it's literally a book of them. That is what happens in the Spirit-led living, that we acknowledge his presence every day. And we're thankful. We're thankful that he's given us another day to live.
Amen.
We're thankful that he's given us another day to love on people, to love those ladies that she's going to see, to remember that my kids love the Hawaiian rolls, and she brought them both their own bag with the Hawaiian rolls. Does she need to do that, y'all?
No.
No, she doesn't. But it is her overwhelming love in remembering that was something that put a smile on their face. And it still does. It still does.
And they're going to be surprised to know that they have their own package. And I had the woman at the grocery store put it in separate bags so that one is for one, one is for the other. They know it.
And
and she won't even have to tell them who they're from.
Like,
Just
someone dropped something off for you, and these y'all, the Father's cheering. The Father is cheering Carol on.
Right.
Bravo, bravo. These are the simple acts of kindness. It doesn't cost a lot of money.
No.
Kindness is free, okay? Yes, there's levels of generosity, but can be bigger. But we're talking about really the small, free gifts of smiling, of giving each other that attaboy and that attagirl, and reminding each other that they matter.
Right. And if you think of something just out of the blue, pertaining to doing a little something for somebody, go ahead and do it. Because it's an inspiration. It has to be from the Lord. Because he loves us and he wants to watch us bless somebody else because he gets the praise. Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
It's just amazing.
And we get the honor to be his maidservant.
Exactly.
And she said, salvation is the door in. But she had to step into the lordship of handing over to say, will you be the Lord of my life? And we can say the master. And this is not a slave thing, y'all. This when you step into lordship, it is from a place of love and connection. So what do I mean by that as we finish up here this morning? We now sense his presence. And to do things, when sin comes into our life or different things, it breaks connection.
Right.
We miss the mark.
Right. And we don't want to do
And
that.
we don't want to do that. And so our spirit inside can feel grieved by certain choices that we make. And every day we get the chance to correct.
Right.
And to get back on track. And sometimes that takes repentance.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
That's a very good thing.
Repentance helps clear the heart. And we have to do this as parents. We have to do this and show our kids that mommy's not always right.
Right. And it's okay.
And that's okay.
Right.
And we can ask for forgiveness and reconnect our hearts back together. And this is a practical way to remind us that we have to do that with the Father too in heaven.
Right.
That there's things that we do that bring a distance.
A little separation.
And that separation is not healthy for our mind, for our body, or our spirit. We know when there's something off.
Right.
And it turns everything off. It puts everything in disarray sometimes.
Right.
And so do those little small acts of kindness because not only is it connecting you closer to hearing the Father's heart,
Right.
but that obedience grows into bigger tasks. And
just think how happy it makes the Lord when you just, it's like he's applauding for you. Just
I hope you can
keep right
just
on.
take that picture home with you every day. He's always cheering for you.
Yes.
But there's some things that we do that delights the
Absolutely.
Father,
Right.
just like us as parents. You know, I'm thankful when my daughter cleans her room without being asked.
Oh, yeah.
There's times we ask and we're thankful for their obedience.
Right.
But when kids do things out
Out
of
of the want to.
yes.
You want the want to.
Yes.
Instead of the you
have to. The have to.
Exactly. Right.
I'm thankful to say that we have grown our relationship to a place with the Father that we want to.
We want to. Yeah, I do.
And I have done this in worship, and I don't know if you remember me saying this, that I choose you again. You know, salvation is not a one-time thing, y'all.
Right. Every day.
Every day we
Almost
choose
every minute.
in.
Exactly.
We choose
Because we do
in
have the opportunity.
to choose out.
Yeah. Every day.
And that's the lordship, that we're handing our life back to him again and saying, do unto me according to your will.
Right.
And sometimes our life has hard seasons.
Right.
And we're like, you really wanted to do that to me? Was he really the one who did it to us? No. But he's there to walk with us.
He knows what he's doing.
That's right.
Get over him.
Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed Stories with Miss Carol. Tune in next week for more adventures.
And I have one more little story. I had
Yes,
one mother tell me she had a little 2-year-old. She was in a mom and Todd class. She would wear her bathing suit to bed at night so that she wouldn't be late for her swimming lesson in the morning.
It mattered that much. No excuses, y'all. No excuses. You do whatever you have to do to step in to the
you
things
go.
that you want to learn.
Get in over your head.
That's it. Get in over your head. That may be just the title of this thing here today. Stories with Miss Carol. Get in over your head. And love you guys. Bye-bye.